Hello, my name's Andrew, and I'm a user experience professional specializing in interface design. And on this channel, I review websites and mobile apps for good user experience. If you like this content, please consider liking and subscribing this video. And today we're starting with a very famous a company known for pretty good interfaces overall. It's Apple's website. So first we're going to start with the mobile experience for different views, and then we'll switch over to the desktop. So we're starting here just with the Apple homepage. So first thing I'm seeing here is if I'm designing for mobile, this is sort of the standard hamburger menu, they call it. Normally it has 3 lines. Apple just going a little bit more minimalist here with 2. I would generally put that icon over here on the right instead, because most people are right-handed, and so it's less of a reach for your thumb to go to this upper right here than it would be to the upper left. But in this case, I agree with what Apple did, because this is in a large part an e-commerce website, and it's really important to have your shopping cart or shopping bag icon easily available. And so you wouldn't want to have the hamburger icon for the main menu super close to the shopping bag one. So that's a sensible choice, in my opinion, doing that. So here you see here we have two CTAs, calls to action, that stands for. The learn more and the buy. The primary is the buy. That's the action they would most like you to take. So I think having it on the right here makes sense. Typically, you want to have your primary action on the right, lower right. So that makes sense to me. And same thing here. These buttons are pretty far apart. That's good. See here. I would put more padding on them personally. I don't think there's going to be a lot of issues with misclicks here, but they're using margin to separate the buttons. I would instead put a little bit of padding around them so that there's more clickable area. But I think that this is probably not too bad. Same format here. I'm not seeing anything too difficult to use so far. This is looking pretty good. Okay, now we're all the way down at the footer. These look a little bit small. Let's see. Those are 36. So those are pretty okay. In terms of like tappable area, the Google spec recommends 48 pixels. These are 36. I think 48 is a little excessive, honestly. I think anywhere in the mid 30s is okay. So this is sort of like the minimum. I probably would like make them a little bit further apart vertically just to give it a little bit more buffer. Maybe take it to like 40, but I think this is not terrible. It's not egregious. I have a little problem with this, actually kind of a big problem. On a smartphone, this number is likely to be activated as a tappable area, like a click to call type of functionality. But look how close they are vertically, this Find an Apple Store link and this. So I'm not sure I'm super into that. Likewise, if you tried to tap sitemap, I think you'd have a decent chance of accidentally tapping privacy policy. So I would personally space these out quite a bit more vertically, even though it doesn't look quite as nice. I think it's pretty important in this case. Let's check out the same Apple homepage on desktop. So here you'll notice the big difference is we have the hamburger menu replaced with all of the actual items listed out. This is good for sure. If you have the space to do it, it's really important. You're going to get more usage of your menu if you show at least some of the items all the time instead of hiding them behind the hamburger. But a lot of times it just isn't possible. Of course, there isn't enough space here, so I understand why they made that decision on mobile, but I'm glad they did it the way they did on desktop. Let's check how the search functions. Oh, that is very sleek. I wonder if it has a good autocomplete. There we go. Okay, so good autocomplete, nice quick links. I'm a fan of the search experience. This is great. And so a lot of this does look really similar to the mobile. So we have the 2 CTAs here. It's good. There's a hover effect. Plenty of space. And also the text is plenty large, very legible. No complaints. The footer looks a touch tight. Let me see here. Just switch my inspector real quick. Okay. Yeah, this is a little tight. Especially if you could picture someone using this on like an iPad in landscape mode. I feel like you could easily have some mishits. So I'm not a huge fan of that part. How big is this text also? I'm just checking how big the text is. 12 pixels. Yeah, I mean, it's small. Like, they're not using it for body copy. That would be too small for body copy. I'm not like horribly offended by this, but I probably would have bumped it up to like a 13 or 14 personally. But it looks nice, and a user can increase the text size overall if they choose to. So it's not terrible in my opinion, but it's a little small for the default, just in my opinion, because a lot of users don't even know how. Ones that don't necessarily have like super serious vision impairments, but their vision is maybe going a little bit. They don't even know or think to increase the text size. So I probably would have made that just a touch bigger, but I don't think it's terrible. Now let's check out one of the product pages. Let's do the Mac. Oh, actually, let's try the search experience here too. Okay, same on mobile. Looks good. Yeah, great job, Apple, on that. That's nice. Let's try the Mac. All right, so this is really good how they have this arrow here. So you can swipe or you can tap the arrow to go, but this is a good indicator. If they hadn't put this arrow here on the right, you might think there were only 3 products, so it's good. And notice how this left indicator appears when it becomes necessary. Really, really good. Fan of that. I'm not a fan of this, because if you remember the experience that we just had from the homepage, the buy was on the right, learn more was on the left, and I agreed with it here because the buy is the primary action that they want you to take. If we go back to the Mac page, the buy is still the primary action they want you to take, and they've even emphasized it more with this button treatment. I have no idea why they didn't put buy on the right. It's the logical place for like a confirm or an OK button, and they want this to be your action as the primary action. So I would definitely not have done it like this. And I'm assuming they're going to repeat that design pattern the whole time. Yeah. Okay, so here this is good. Really clear how to switch between the two. I would have switched the order of these again because I would put the lower one as like the primary. So I would have switched the order of these two. This looks nice. It's not amazing in my opinion because it almost looks like carousel indicators. So you might think that you could click one of these and see like a different view of the carousel, different slide. But it's actually just the colors that the product's available in. So I'm not super into that decision. And just the specs looks good. There's nothing really usable about this section. It's quite legible, so no complaints. These look a little tight, but they might be okay. Let me see. Yeah, these are a little too close together. I would have given this more vertical space. This all seems pretty good. A lot of space between, no complaints. These look a little tight. Let's see. Those are okay. Again, I would have given them padding instead of margin, but this isn't too bad. Okay, now this one I have a big problem with. You can't swipe. You can see here from these dots that it's a carousel. And you can tap these. But you should be able to swipe between the carousel items, and you can't. And I have no idea why they did it that way, honestly. How big is this tappable area? Oh, it's not really going to show me. Let's see, I could do it this way. Yeah, it's a little small. I would definitely have given these more. If this is especially if this is the only way to navigate this carousel, I would have definitely given them space them out wider horizontally. So it was harder to mistap. That's the concern I have, is that people are going to mistap one of these carousel items. Yeah, same interface here. I also don't like how this slides up and down depending on the content. I would have put these so that they sit below the tallest item, right? So like if you do this, this is the tallest item. I would keep the bullets that you can click at the height that they were here, so that you're not having to move your finger around to navigate it. You can just tap through it. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but I just personally want to design it that way. These look good. Plenty of space between. Oh, no, this is not, I would never have done it this way. Because like the user doesn't have the ability to swipe through it. It's fine in having an auto advance in this case, because there's not really a lot of reading to be done. I would never ever support like an auto advancing carousel if there's a lot of text to be consumed, because people will get frustrated because they would be like reading part of this thing, and then they would have it switch to the next slide without their permission. They get frustrated. So I'm not. This is okay. I would rather have it just static, and then you can swipe through it. You are able to pause it, but that's not really a standard way to do this. So I'm just not a big fan. I think if you tap these, they will go to the, yeah, but, oh yeah, but no, I wouldn't have done it this way. I would like the user to be able to choose the speed at which they consume the content. No problems with any of this. And the footer, same, because these breadcrumbs, this is a nice feature. All right, let's try it on the desktop experience. It's gonna be similar. So notice here, this is nice. You can see all of the product lines because we have a wider area. Again, I don't know what they were thinking, honestly, on this. This is nice. It's pretty obvious that they're tabs. It's like nice dark indicator of the active tab. It's good. Yeah, same comments from the mobile. This is good, plenty of space. Oh, very different. So this is a really nice interface on desktop. This is the same information that we were getting on mobile, but I do think this is a really nice experience on desktop. The tabs are clearly labeled. I just wish they would have done it differently on the mobile, but I think this looks nice. Same experience here. Yeah, not a fan. It's unnecessary. It looks kind of cool, but it's just not that usable. Yeah, global footer. All right, and finally, let's take a look at one of the shopping pages on mobile first. This is good because it shows you, notice that this was the default. It shows the edge of this one, so it implies to you that you can actually swipe through these, and you can. That's a nice feature. Like this here, if you just saw these three, you wouldn't really know that you could see more. So this is good. I'm assuming they're checking that this one's always visible and making adjustments to the margins to ensure that. That would be an important development decision to make. Same thing here. You can see the side of the next card so that you know that you can swipe through them. This is good. That's important. Otherwise, it would be extremely confusing. So good job, Apple, on that one. Same feature here. Looks like they're using like 2 cards heightways on that. That's good. Looks good. Looks cool. Nice big cards here. They're not too tight. There's plenty of margin. It looks really good. I'm a fan of this experience so far. Yeah, they're definitely kind of using that. I'm guessing just down to the footer now. Yeah. All right, let's try the shopping experience on desktop. See how that's. Like, I'll click into an individual product in a second. So yeah, kind of the same thing. They have the more space. This is nice too. This shows the arrow so you know for sure. And then the left arrow appears. The thing on this one for me is like, they didn't do it on mobile. I understand why. It would have been ideal if they did it on mobile too, but I understand why they didn't because it's just so much less horizontal space, but pretty good. Cards look nice. Yeah, this is nice. And notice it's important to me that it's not an auto-advancing carousel, right? If you're reading this or this and then all of them move without you knowing, it gets really annoying. So I'm glad they did it this way. This is good. Yep, no complaints. Yeah, pretty solid. Let's check out a product. Let's do Mac. Again, I didn't point this out before. I do like this, how they have these kind of two quick links for talking to a specialist and visiting an Apple store. I think that's probably something that a lot of people will want to do. So I think that's cool. This is another example of the overlap where you show like the item that's cut off. Again, if all you saw was all models and shopping guides, you would think that was just like two tabs, but this is like a good way to use the limited space. I like this. Some websites use this as their mobile menu style, which can be effective in certain situations too. I'll review one that does that at some point. The cards, they look good. Again, these kind of imply a carousel, so I think even if you had done square ones, it might have been better, but I understand it does fit their aesthetic more to do it this way, but it's just a little, I wouldn't recommend having a carousel in a card anyway, but I don't know. I think they could have done it a little differently, but it's not the worst. Yeah, these are nice. Let me just go into a product. Oh, interesting to do it as a modal. So you click that and you can X out of it right away. See what I'm saying though? Like thankfully they have the difference in the sizes, but like it's not too different of a treatment. So that's what I was harping on about before. I think it could be handled differently, but this is pretty good in this situation. Really clean, easy to read. So I hit the buy button. Now they're going to make me, okay, so I can pick my color. It's pretty clear what to do. All right, select. All right, now I'm supposed to customize it. All right. Pre-selected options, pretty obvious which is which. I know they're trying to upsell. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a little overboard, honestly. I'm not sure. Is there actually going to be a final? No. In some situations, you'd expect to have like a final, like add to bag button down here. They are showing it here, but it feels a little strange that they're upselling me on stuff and then not having a final button. I'm also not a huge fan of the treatment of the add to bag button on the top. It's everything else I've seen on the site uses like flat UI element design, and yet the add to bag here has a gradient. So it's a little strange to me. That's inconsistent, but see, like this one here, the add to bag button was gradient, but this one is just flat. So it just like a little surprising. It's good that they're not making me do these upsell things again. I can just skip to the bag. That's nice. I like that. Yeah, easy to find the remove. They're still doing the upsells, but it's not too bad, not too annoying. Yeah, okay. So I think it was a pretty decent shopping experience. Yeah, like a few things I pointed out, but I think in general, like this is a pretty solid experience for the checkout process. So I'm just going to quickly breeze through it on desktop because it's very similar, but Nice use of the two columns here. This is great. Like it's much more than better than having it have to scroll through a giant image to get to these customization options. I'm a fan. Again, they're doing this weird gradient add to bag button. I do like the way that this is rooted to the top at all times, but again, I probably would have preferred an additional add to bag button here below the upsells. Because it like also gives you an extra confirmation that you've completed like the choices, you know, that you don't have to make any more decisions. The other information lower on the page is more just informational, not transactional. This is good. Again, that gradient button is still really bothering me, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, overall, this site has like a few things that I would change, but I think you know in general it's not a bad effort at all. I think I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B, especially for a company that I love Apple interfaces in general on the actual apps. I think they could do better on their website, but it's a solid effort. So that's the end of the video. If you liked it, please let me know in the comments and consider liking and subscribing. If there's a certain website or app you want me to review, I'd be happy to. So just let me know in the comments. Thanks, everybody.